If you've been making skincare and cosmetics for a while, chances are really good that you have a few fabulous formulations that are absolute standbys for you. Things that you love that you could make in your sleep. These formulations are great candidates for gift giving, but it can be nice to give them a little bit of a holiday makeover. You definitely don't have to, but today I'm going to share sort of 3.5 ways that you can holiday-ize your formulations. The first way that you can holiday-ize your formulations is by making them smell like the holidays. If your formulation already contains some essential oil or fragrance oil, it can be as easy as just swapping that for something that smells like pine trees or gingerbread or something really lovely. It is really important to make sure that you are researching the essential oil or oils or fragrance oil or blend of essential oils and fragrance oils, because you can blend them, to make sure that you are using them safely for the specific product that you are making. Different essential oils and fragrance oils have different maximum usage levels for different types of products. For instance, that maximum allowable usage level is usually higher for a wash-off product than it is for a leave-on product. If you're working with a fragrance oil, your supplier should be providing this information and breaking it down by the different IFRA categories. If it's an essential oil, that information can be a bit harder to find. I always recommend Tisserand and Young's Essential Oil Safety for Beginners and the Tisserand Institute website. For more information on this, please make sure you are checking out the links in the description box below this video. I tend to use fragrance oils at about 0.1 to 0.3%, as I find they're really quite potent. So if your formulation called for 1% of a lavender essential oil, say, in sort of every other time of the year times, and you wanted to holiday-ize it with a holiday fragrance oil, I would drop that 1% down to maybe 0.2%. Now you have 0.8% of your formulation left that you need to make up with another ingredient. If the formulation contains water, you can simply use more water. And if it's something anhydrous, using more of whatever liquid oil is most plentiful in the formulation usually works out just fine. If the formulation is a liquid surfactant formulation, make sure you test it before gifting it, because changing the scent in a liquid surfactant formulation can have a very large impact on the viscosity and consistency of the formulation. So just make sure that you are doing it ahead of time, making a small little batch, testing it up, and then putting it somewhere where you can watch it and make sure that it doesn't split or curdle or get really, really thin and watery on you. If the formulation that you're modifying doesn't contain any essential or fragrance oil in it, you'll be kind of doing the opposite, going to either the water or the most prominent liquid carrier oil and kind of just shaving off, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3%, and then making room for that lovely scented thing and including that in your cool down phase. Holiday-ize strategy number 2 is adding some color to the formulation. Colored micas are often the easiest way to do this because they incorporate really, really easily and are available in every color you can imagine. 0.5% to 1% is usually enough to get some color to the formulation, but not to leave any color on the skin of your recipients. Make sure you are looking at the individual ingredients of the colored micas that you're using. They are blended ingredients, colored micas, so the color can come from a variety of different ingredients. That ingredient could potentially be, or one of them might be, carmine, and so if this is a product that you're intending to gift to somebody who's vegan, you'd want to avoid that. If the mica is destined for a soap, make sure that none of the pigments in that blended mica are unstable in high pH environments. TKB Trading, Yellowbee, and Brambleberry all do a really good job of making sure you know what their micas will do in soaps. Also, please make sure you are sourcing out child labor-free micas. All of the micas sold by Yellowbee and TKB Trading are child labor-free. Making room for mica in a formulation is much the same as making room for a fragrance or an essential oil. If it's an emulsion, you'll want to knock off 0.5% to 1% of the water, and if it is a body butter bar, something anhydrous, you'll want to just reduce the amount of the most prevalent liquid oil. In anhydrous formulations, micas can go in the heated phase or the cool down phase. In hydrous formulations, I recommend putting them in the cool down phase because sometimes they can curdle if heated and you get kind of an uneven color. Because micas are insoluble, they will settle out of formulations that aren't viscous or thick enough to keep them in suspension over time. So they're not good choices for formulations like thin foaming hand washes. If you want to color a formulation like that, I would recommend using a water-soluble dye. They are incredibly potent. You only need about 0.01%, and the colors are very, very bright, so tread carefully. I don't recommend using iron oxides or ultramarines to sort of just decorate a formulation. They're really potent. They can be difficult to incorporate evenly into a formulation, and in the past when I've used them in soaps and lotions, I have had recipients tell me that that candy cane soap that they used made them worry that perhaps they were having some sort of a bleeding episode in the shower because all the red oxide was just, it was way too much. So, Option number 3 for holiday-izing your formulations is shifting one of the star ingredients in a formulation to something that's got some holiday vibes. Examples of ingredients that I think have holiday vibes include plum oil, cranberry seed oil, cocoa butter, though I do kind of tend to think that cocoa butter is just wonderful in everything, and spruce hydrosol. Say you have a lip balm formulation that has 30–40% sweet almond oil or sunflower oil, trade that out for some plum kernel oil or for some cranberry seed oil, and now you have like cranberry lip balm. Cocoa butter can be a bit trickier to incorporate into formulations if they don't already include cocoa butter. If they've already got refined cocoa butter, just trade it out for unrefined cocoa butter and now your formulation smells like chocolate. If they contain a different brittle butter, you might have to do a bit of redeveloping, but you can probably make it work. And if you have a formulation that already includes some water, that's a really great opportunity to trade out some of the water, 30–40%, for a holiday scented hydrosol that you love. And the 0.5 in the 3.5 promise ways to holiday-ize your formulations is to just give them like a really fun name and some fun packaging, and leave the formulation the same and just kind of dress it up for a holiday party. All right, those have been 3.5 ways to holiday-ize your formulations. Please make sure you are checking out the description box below this video for lots of links to helpful additional resources to help you deck the formulations. Bye.